Hello, my friends, and welcome. Well, I have to admit, I have been feeling a little out of sorts lately, what with all the discord and uncertainty in the world right now. So I thought I'd turn to my Animal Wisdom Oracle cards with a question on how to deal with this out of sorts feeling more positively. Today I'll be working with a two-card reading, seeking an answer to the question I posed, which perhaps is relevant for you as well. And the question is, how can I remain positive, hopeful, and effective in these difficult transformative times? While shuffling and cutting the cards, I focused my intention on that question. Each card in a two-card reading has a slightly different meaning. The first card represents the immediate past which influences the current moment. And the current moment at this time of this recording is March 22nd, 2023. And the first card is Polar Bear. Polar Bear is extremely strong, powerful, and prospers in the cold and harsh conditions of the Arctic. Polar Bear reminds us that the past few months, which have been winter for us living in the Northern Hemisphere, have provided us with the foundation of strength and the ability to prosper in hostile situations. Polar Bear, strongly connected with the ocean, opens your soul to unknown thoughts and motions coming from deep within yourself, from your inner knowing. Polar Bear gifts you with patience and persistence in problem solving and teaches the value of remaining inconspicuous until the perfect moment for your unveiling appears. In this quietness, you can more easily hear the guidance of your higher self. Now we can call on the wisdom we have gained from this recent past, the things we know without knowing why we know them, our wild and uncivilized parts, our deep inner knowings. We have patience and persistence to bring to our current situation and this moment's difficulties. With patience, persistence, and the guidance that we have received from our higher selves, we can more easily remain positive and hopeful as we face the current transformative difficulties. So now let's explore the second card in the reading, which shows the current moment and offers insights in how to navigate that moment while using the wisdom we have gained from the past few months. After all, we often have very little control over what happens to us, but we can always control how we respond to a situation. And the second card is Salmon. Salmon teaches you to leap with joy, to fight powerfully when needed, and to flow with the currents beneath the surface whenever possible. Looking at this in relation to the question, I feel Salmon is guiding us to remain joyful about the beauty and positive possibilities of harmony and balance in the world today, while fighting against the currents that wish to keep our world on the path of domination and control by the few. And Salmon cautions against falling into a place of reaction and confrontation. Instead, let's find like-minded folks and work beneath the surface of all the conflict in the world, working toward a positive outcome when all the transformation finally settles into a new way of being. Salmon gifts you with wisdom as you journey through difficult waters, gaining insight and spiritual knowledge. Salmon reveals the power of instinct and determination and urges you to never give up, no matter how difficult the journey. Salmon calls us all to be part of a positive feedback loop as we go through our personal transformations in this transforming world. As each person's consciousness transforms into one of love instead of fear, the world consciousness changes slightly, which then feeds back into individuals and their own growing consciousness, which then contributes to the world consciousness, and so on, until finally enough people in the world have firmly committed to a consciousness of love, and our world itself is transformed. Remember Salmon's message to never, never, never give up. Wise Salmon provides the understanding that we are always on our way home to reunion with Source, which in my worldview is love. What I take away from this two-card reading is that though we are in difficult and uncertain times when fears can easily arise, our work is to not fall into fear, but to remain centered in the knowledge that by using our own inner guidance, we have the ability to confront and deal with the difficulties of this time. That our own instinct and determination urges us on in a joyful way and allows us to remain open to a positive outcome for all. If you too have been feeling a little out of sorts, I hope the wisdom of polar bear and salmon help you find balance again. As a side note, I'll offer a small explanation about this two-card reading, which I have adapted from a tarot deck's three-card reading spread. Three-card readings are one of many spreads to use when working with tarot cards. Now, I love tarot and I work with tarot also, but readings with a tarot deck and an oracle deck are slightly different. Both systems help us access our own inner knowing when we need some guidance. But tarot has been and still is used in a predictive way. Oracle decks are not predictive. In a three-card tarot reading, the third card represents the outcome that will flow from the past influences and the present moment. So I adapted that into a two-card spread when using my oracle decks, leaving out the third and somewhat predictive card. Though if you work with an oracle card and are drawn to using the third card and assigning whatever meaning you'd like, then that's great too. And finally, though I am not an astrologer, I do have an understanding of astrological concepts and meanings. The astrology of the past few years up to the present moment indicates great transformation taking place in our world, in particular about who holds power and how the world is run. I've put some links in the description box below to a couple of the astrologers that I follow in case you're interested in checking into world events through the lens of astrology. And with that, I'll bid you farewell today. Stay strong, stay positive, and keep your heart open to love always.